By the end of this effect, your audience will be convinced they stumbled into a 1 in a million moment. This brilliant trick is 100% self-working, requires no difficult moves, and ends with a moment of wonder they'll never forget. So, grab a deck and get ready to deal out the impossible. Okay, so as ever, let's just kickstart by taking a look at the effect itself. Now, this is going to be a demonstration of the fairest card trick in the world. And it's the fairest card trick because we're going to start with the fairest of cuts. Now, this is a professional level cut that's performed in casinos all over the world in order to prevent from any cheating. And it consists of various cuts to the deck like so, one final cut, and then the deck is squared back up. Now, in order to continue the fairness, you're now going to invite the spectator to give the deck a cut. And they really can cut the deck wherever they like. It's a totally free choice. And with that done, you're going to explain to the spectator that it doesn't matter how much the cards are mixed. There's one card in the deck, one special card, that always delivers remarkable results. And you're just going to take a look through the deck to find that card. Ask the spectator whether they've got any idea what that card is, and they might or they might not. But you're going to explain that special card just happens to be the Joker. And you're now going to demonstrate exactly why this card is so special. Now, in order to continue the fairness, you're going to ask the spectator to take the deck here and just to cut it into approximately 3 even piles. And once again, it's a totally free choice. They can cut the deck wherever they like. So let's say they cut it here and then one more cut just about here. Now, it's important to emphasize that that is a totally free and fair cut. And we now want the spectator to select a single card. And again, we want this to be as fair as possible. So you're just going to take the final pack just here and fan the cards and ask the spectator just to pick any one card. Ask them to make it as difficult as possible. So ideally a card from around the middle, but it really is a free choice. Let's say they select this card just here. Ask the spectator now to take a look at their selected card. So here we can see in this instance, it's the 9 of diamonds. And with that done, ask them just to place this card to the side on the table. Now, emphasizing with the spectator once again that that card is a totally free and fair choice. We now want to use the value of that card in order to mix up the piles here. So given the spectator has selected a 9, you're now going to ask the spectator just to take the first pile here and to deal 9 cards from this pile down onto the table. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And with that done, to deal 1 card on top of the other 2 piles and then to place these cards back on top. And you're now going to ask the spectator to repeat exactly the same with the other 2 piles. So taking the middle pile here and dealing 9 cards onto the table. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 1 card on top of the other 2 piles. And finally, exactly the same with the 3rd pile just here. So once again, 9 cards to the table. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 1 card on top of the other 2 piles. At this point, you can just quickly recap what's happened. From a thoroughly mixed deck, the spectator freely cut the deck into separate piles. They then freely selected a single card, and the value of this card has now been used to mix up all of the other cards. There's absolutely no way that you could have known which card the spectator would choose. It was a totally free and fair choice. You can also point out the special card that we placed on the table earlier on, the Joker just here. You can now ask the spectator just to take this card and just to lightly tap it on top of the individual piles one at a time. So 1 tap here, 2 taps here, and a final tap just here. Asking the spectator whether they felt anything just happen, you can now explain that something remarkable has just happened. Because by tapping each of the packs, all of the cards have now become aligned, reminding the spectator that they freely and fairly selected the 9 of diamonds. You can now reveal the top card of the first pack here to be a matching 9. The top card of the second pack here to be another matching 9. And for a perfect set, the top card of the third and final pack here somehow just happens to be another matching 9. That's a perfect 4 of a kind, and you can't say fairer than that. An incredible 4 card reveal that's also super easy to perform, so stick around because now I will show you exactly how it works. Okay, so let's take a look at the secret to this effect. Now to start with, there's just a small piece of preparation to carry out. You're going to prepare 16 cards as follows. You're going to take a joker on top just here, followed by any 3 cards, and they can be any cards that you like. You're then going to follow these cards with the 4 5s, and then the 4 9s, and then finally the 4 kings. And you're going to take this pack of cards and just place it on top of the deck. Now, if you like to start with, you can just casually perform a full shuffle to make it look as though the cards are mixed. And you can perform any full shuffle you like, you just need to keep the top 16 cards in place. You're now going to perform a multiple false cut to the deck on the table. So here, you're just going to cut about 2/3 of the deck and place it to the side, and then take the remaining pack here, turn this sideways, and just place it on top. You're then going to cut about half of the lower pack, and just place this to the side, and then the remaining pack here on top like so. You're now going to cut the deck from the middle horizontal pack here, just lifting this pack and rotating the cards 90 degrees as you place them back down. The final pack is then placed back on top, and the cards are squared. You're now going to invite the spectator just to give the deck one complete cut, and they really can cut the cards wherever they like. You're now going to take the deck with a view to removing the joker. So you're just going to spread through the cards until you find the joker, so we can see the joker just here, and then you're going to cut the cards so the joker is the top card of the deck. You can then take this card and place it face up on the table. And that means at the top of the deck you now have your 16 prepared cards from earlier. You're now going to ask the spectator to cut the deck into approximately 3 even piles, and it's a free choice. They really can cut the cards wherever they like. So let's say they cut the cards just about here. The final pile here on your right should now have your prepared cards on top, and you're now going to take this pile, asking the spectator to select a single card. Offering the cards to the spectator, you're just going to ask them to select a card from somewhere around the middle to make it as difficult as possible. And this will just ensure that they select one of the prepared 5s, 9s or kings. Let's say in this instance they select this card just here. You can place the rest of the cards back down on the table. Ask the spectator now to take a look at their card, and here we can see they've selected one of the 5s, in this case the 5 of spades. You're now going to ask the spectator to take the first pile here and to deal the number of cards to the table corresponding to the value of their selected card. So in this case, they selected a 5, so they'll deal 5 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. With that done, now ask them to deal 1 single card on top of the remaining 2 piles. And then to place the remaining cards here back down on top of the dealt cards. Ask them now to repeat exactly the same with the second pile here. And then finally, just to perform exactly the same with the third pile. Now for a bit of showmanship, just ask the spectator to take the joker from earlier and just to tap it on top of each of the piles. Emphasising the fairness of all of the selections, all that's left to do now is to reveal the top card of each of the piles. And these will always be an exact match to the spectator's selected card, in this case all 4 of the 5s. Go and amaze. And there you have it. But here's the truth. When something feels 1 in a million and you're the one making it happen, it's a reminder of what's possible with focus and belief. So hit subscribe and keep building a mindset that turns small moments into real confidence that carries far beyond the cards. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep the magic alive.